Dragon Pit is a 3 to 5 minute, 2 to 3 player, simultaneous action, bluffing, and strategy game. You start with 13 cards, from -1 to 11. Each turn, you secretly select a card to play and a pile to play it on. When you made your choice, you say ready. When you and your opponent have both said ready, you go 1, 2, 3, go, and play the card on the pile that you secretly chose. You win if you get 3 of your cards in a row on one pile, like this, or if you get 1 of your cards on top of each pile. If you both play on the same pile, then the highest card wins, and the lower card is discarded. However, instead of playing on a pile, you can also play off to the side in the pit. If a card is played in the pit that's lower than a card that's played on a pile, then both cards are discarded, letting you sacrifice a lower card in the pit to take out your opponent's higher card. If you both play in the pit, then the lower card is discarded and the higher card returns to your hand, which gives you a significant advantage. However, it's a very risky move. If you played a higher card in the pit and your opponent played a lower card on a pile, then you just wasted your higher card. If you ever both play the same card on the same pile, or the same card in the pit, then both cards are discarded. If both players run out of cards, then you count the cards in the piles. Whoever has the most cards across all the piles wins. If there's a tie, then the player who has the most cards on top of the piles wins. Keeping track of what options your opponent has available, what options you have available, and the current state of the piles is essential to winning in Dragon Pit. Those are the basic rules of Dragon Pit. In the advanced rules, 5 of your cards will have a special ability. -Run is regeneration. If this is played successfully on your card in a pile, then you get to return that card to your hand. It's very powerful, but at -1, it won't win against anything else in the piles. However, you could also use it as a very safe option to play in the pit. 0 is your Dragon's Nest. If your opponent played in the pit, then you have to discard this card. However, if you also played in the pit, then they have to discard their card, even if it was higher than yours. Dragon's Nest is a great card to play if you anticipate your opponent playing in the pit, but you're not sure what number card they'll play. Your number 4 is Metamorphosis. If this is played on a middle pile, then it becomes an 8 for all interactions with opponent cards, meaning it can beat out a card like a 5, 6, or 7 because it becomes an 8. This is very strong. However, your opponent, knowing this, might anticipate that you go for the middle pile, so you can always play it off to the side. You have to watch out that opponent playing a 5, 6, or 7 in the pit would take out your Metamorphosis if played on the middle pile. Number 7 is a Spirit Dragon. It's a strong card, having 7 power. It can beat out most of the cards in the game, but it's fragile. And if an opponent card is successfully played directly on top of it, then it has to get discarded. If you think your opponent is going to attack your Spirit Dragon, that can help you strategize and let you play a higher card on top of it to make sure that they don't take it out. Your number 10 card is Fire. If your opponent played a lower card on any pile, then they have to discard that card. Fire is great if you think your opponent will play it on a pile, but you're not sure which. Dragon Pit supports 3 players, with a 4th pile and 1 small rule change. I look forward to fighting you in the Dragon Pit.